guys ready? You ready? Lindsay, you ready? Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We have a lot to celebrate tonight, as is evident by everybody here, so I would like to call the meeting to order, please.
Mrs. De Silva?
Here.
Mrs. Gillis?
Here.
Mrs. Messick?
Here.
And Mrs. Rigby?
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's recommended that the board approve the November 10th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Gillis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. De Silva. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Gillis?
Yes.
Mrs. De Silva?
Abstain.
Mrs. Messick?
Yes.
And Mrs. Rigby?
Yes. Motion passes 3-0. It's recommended to approve this evening's agenda as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. De Silva. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Messick. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. De Silva?
Yes.
Mrs. Messick?
Yes.
Mrs. Gillis?
Yes.
And Mrs. Rigby?
Yes. Motion passes 4-0. At this time, I would move to nominate Mr. Chris Valentine as President Pro Tem to open the January 12th, 2026 Board of Education organizational meeting and preside over the election of Board President and Vice President. This does not require a second vote. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Rigby?
Yes.
Mrs. Gillis?
Yes.
Mrs. De Silva?
Yes.
And Mrs. Messick?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0. Awards and recognitions. Dr. Marshausen.
Mr. Arn.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Oh, I better turn that on. Thank you, Cassie. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, first of all, for being flexible. I think we've rescheduled this a bunch of different times, so I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. It's an exciting evening for us, and we're looking forward to kind of celebrating our programs. Just a couple things. One, I'm going to be brief because we have to get all of these teams over to City Council tonight because they're also being recognized, so we're fortunate to be able to do that. But very quickly, we had a fantastic fall in general. The fact that we are celebrating 3 state champions is pretty amazing. And my message always is one, I'm always grateful of all the time and effort our student athletes put in, but I also want to thank, it's also an opportunity for me to thank all the parents that are here tonight. I know the time and effort as a parent as well that it takes to get your kids to practices and all the things that you're doing. And tonight this fall, you got to see all of your kids reach a goal. And that's pretty amazing. So I'm excited for everybody. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Schwanke so he can give you all the details. But thank you again for being here, and congratulations to all our programs. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jay Schwanke. I'm the athletic director at Dublin Jerome High School, and I'm very proud of our school. We had a wonderful fall sports season, and standing up here celebrating the accomplishments of 3 teams winning the Division I Ohio State Championships is an amazing accomplishment as a school. So we should be very proud of that. Echoing what Mr. Arn had said, the amount of dedication and hard work that all these student athletes put in to their respective sports is amazing, and that cannot be understated. All the behind-the-scenes work that they do in training throughout the season, throughout the year, leading up to the fall season, it's amazing. So they definitely should be commended for that. All the work that they put in, it came to a head this fall, and they won the greatest awards in their sport in the state of Ohio. Parents, thank you so much for all of your support. We know that all that goes on behind the scenes. As a parent myself, so everything that you do to support our kids and support our programs, we definitely appreciate. And last but certainly not least, The amount of effort that goes in from our coaching staff, we have such a talented coaching staff. I'm going to introduce our coaches one by one as they come up and they speak about their teams. But I can't be more lucky as an athletic director to have all of these amazingly talented professionals working with our kids every day. So the first team that I did want to talk about was our girls golf team. They're led by C.D. Butcher. He's an amazing person and he's an amazing professional. His team, very young, won the OCC, and they had a runaway win in the state championship at Akron Firestone Golf Course, and they won the Division I state championship. So I'm going to call C.D. Butcher up to talk a little bit about his team.
You guys moved us around a little bit. I like this. First of all, I'd like to thank you guys for even taking the time to recognize these young ladies and the boys golf team and the soccer team. As you know, and you see people come and go, that takes a lot of work, a lot of time, and it takes a village to be successful. I've been so lucky over 20 years of having great parents and just some amazing, talented young girls. This season, if I wanted to sum it up a little bit, it's like every season's a little bit different. This is our 4th year in here in a row, and this team is completely different than the last team. Last year, we had graduated 4 of our top 6 scoring averages, lowest scoring averages. So really wasn't sure. I knew we'd be good, but we came in, a group of young girls. I had 3 sophomores, a freshman, and a junior, and 2 returning from last year's team, and they just have that it factor where they may not have been the longest hitters, may not have hit every single putt, but when it comes down to just being golfers, they just got it done. They never got rattled. And that's a very rare, I don't know what you guys were doing when you were 13 or 14 years old, but if you were standing in front of hundreds of people on a tee box or over a 4-foot putt, it's pretty amazing what these girls can do. But like Jay said, we won the league, we won sectionals, we were district runners-up, went to the state championship. We were in the lead after the first day, and when things got really hard, and I'll just say this is what they are, what they do, is when it was a hard course, the conditions were tough, and they just never got rattled. And I've said, with no driver's license in the program, no girl with a driver's license, it's pretty amazing. I've been lucky to have seniors just lead the way. So natural-born leaders, natural-born golfers. I've got with me today freshman Maya Faustino. No, start walking yet. We'll walk in a second. I have sophomore Adela Pawlowski. Just take a step back. Sophomore Mallory Quickle. Sophomore Nikitha Suresh. And the old lady of the group, junior, Minyuan Zhang. But thanks again to you guys. You guys do a great job. I know it's underappreciated, and sometimes you might wonder if it's worth all the time you do. Just like coaching, you guys see the results, so I applaud you guys as well. Thank you.
Now, the next team we're going to recognize is our boys golf team, and they're led by Mr. Brad Sparling, and he has his assistant, Chris Carlisle, with him tonight. Excellent coaches, excellent role models, and we're lucky to have them as well. The team was very dominant this fall, won the OCC, they won the sectional, then the district, and they won a close match at Firestone to win the state championship. Now, one thing I did not want to understate is we have 3 team state champions here. We also have an individual state champion as well. Brady Barnum won the individual tournament in the state of Ohio, so he is your individual state champion. So I'd like to give a special recognition for that. So we're going to invite Brad and Chris up to introduce our 2025 Division I state champion boys golf team.
Hi, I'm Brad Sparling. Thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate everything you do to support the kids in this area and their education. And thank you for taking the time to honor our team this year. This has been an incredible group. This is my second year coaching at Jerome, but these guys truly are a special, special group. Our culture was awesome. We had 15 wins. We set our all-time scoring record at Jerome, and we've had a great history. We broke the all-time record at sectionals at districts and the scoring record at the state as well, and Brady Barnum won the individual title. So awesome, awesome, fun year. First person up is a freshman, winner of the district championship, just a bright future, Blaze Barnum. Next to him is his older brother, a junior, Brady Barnum, who won, 9 tournaments this year. And Brady's going to play golf at the University of Georgia. Thankfully, not next year, but the year after that. So he's one of the top players in the country, and we're fortunate to have him on our team. Next to him is Blake Hartman, who is a senior. He's going to play golf at James Madison next year, and Blake was incredibly solid all year long and finished the year as our second best scoring average, so he has a bright future as well. Evan Mangus is a junior, will be a senior next year, and Evan played great throughout the year and had some awesome rounds at the state tournament and was second team All-State. And Trent Thompson is a senior going to play golf at Queens University in Charlotte, North Carolina next year. Trent had an unbelievable 71 the last round of the state tournament to help us win by 2, and he finished second team All-State as well. And Harrison Young was a mainstay in our lineup throughout the entire year. He's a sophomore, going to be a junior next year, and he also has a very bright future. So hopefully we'll be back here next year, but competition is really tough around the state. But great group of young men, and we're blessed to lead them. Here's my assistant coach, Chris Carlisle, and we couldn't do anything without him.
Hey, thanks, Coach. Real quick, I'd like to thank Coach Sparling for having me involved in the program. I'd like to thank Coach Jay Schwanke for talking me into taking the varsity JVs last year and being a part of this special program. Mr. Marshausen, I'd like to thank you. He comes to the Dublin Jerome football games. I run the pass gate there, and that gentleman there, he not only comes to the Jerome games, but if all 3 Jerome or Dublin teams are playing home football games, he makes sure he's at all 3 of those games on the same night. That's a great effort, and I truly appreciate that. I'd like to thank Mr. Arndt for always giving me some great support and supporting our athletes all year long. I'd really like to thank the parents. We have unbelievable parents that are willing to do whatever it takes to put our athletes in a position to compete and to finish in the top. And most importantly, there are many things we have going on this time of year. A lot of people look at Christmas trees, and that's important. But the most important tree is the family tree. And this time of year, we should concentrate on that family tree. But the other trees in the forest are athletic trees. And part of that is the Jerome Boys Golf Program. And these young men persevered through some incredible pressure. And I mean incredible pressure. This is the 10th state championship for the boys program, and to live up to those expectations, you can't imagine what the pressure is that's put on these young men. So I'm proud to be associated with Dublin Jerome Golf, and most importantly, I'm so proud to be a part of this state championship, but most importantly, with the greatest guys in the world. Thanks, gentlemen. Appreciate the effort this year.
Just squeeze in, boys. Coach, get in there. Coach Carl, how'd you get in?
I'll go now. I'll go if my big head gets in. That's all we care about.
Hey, Coach Carl, you want to get out
Yeah, there you go. Get in there with me. Hey, Carl, I get out.
All right, yeah. Put a couple in the front. Here we go. I like it. All right, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, our last group, but certainly not least, is our 2025 Division I state champions in boys soccer. An incredible run this year. OCC champions, district champions, regional champions, and state champions. By show of hands, who's at that game, that state championship game? Okay, we finally thawed out from that. Okay, it was an incredibly cold Monday night. I've been walking this earth for about 50 years, and it was one of the top 3 sporting events I've ever been to. It was amazing. It went back and forth. Our guys just played with such grit, such heart, and they weren't denied in the end. So they won in a penalty kick shootout. In the end, they defeated the 6-time defending state champion, St. Ignatius. So it was an amazing night to be at Kelt, and we're so proud of these guys. Their team went 15-3-5, and they ended with winning a game. And when you're the one who wins the last game of the season, you're the champs. So they're led by Nate Most. He is the only boys soccer coach in the history of Dublin Jerome High School. I've known him for a very long time, and I consider him a good friend. He's a great man, and I couldn't be more happy to introduce him as a state championship coach. Coach?
I know we're a large group, noisy group, so we'll try and be quick. I want to thank you all for having us and recognizing us at the board meeting tonight. I know Jay said some really nice things about our group. I want to focus mainly on not the season, but I want to focus on the final game. Obviously, it's a very historic game for us. I want to recognize our school board, our superintendent, Mike and Jay, who have supported us all along. I want to recognize the amazing parents and community that is here. I know we had a couple more people than this at the game, but I know we have a lot of parents here tonight supporting our group. And obviously, we want to recognize the players. I'm not going to go through their names because there's a lot of us. But I do want to point out that this season was our 21st season as a soccer program. We've had some amazing teams, some amazing players. This group obviously is very special. They will live forever as the first boys soccer team in Dublin to ever reach a state final and then also win the state final. Early in the season, we had some ups and downs. Our first 2 games ended in ties. We actually had 3 ties later on after that, so we had 5 ties total. We had 3 losses. So we had some things that were kind of some adversity that we faced. I loved the things that we put in front of this team. We wanted them to get a high seed in the tournament, and so we placed some goals in front of them. They exceeded our expectations for sure. We got into the postseason, and we had some goals there as well. to win a district title, to get to a regional final, and be the last public school in the Division I state tournament. So we won the public school championship and we won the private school championship as well. We'd like to call ourselves 2-time state champs. But really proud of this group of guys. The leadership at 8 seniors this year that will be graduating, and it started with them. It started with their leadership, and then just down through the ranks of our junior class, sophomore class, and with a couple of freshman call-ups as well that were part of it. I'd like our assistant coach Colin Berrigan to say a couple words. We had 4 other coaches that weren't able to be here that were a part of it. But Colin Berrigan is my right-hand man, who's our associate head coach, essentially. I'd like him to say a couple words, and then obviously we'll shake hands.
Thanks, Nate, and thanks, Mike, and Jay as well for giving us the opportunity to focus on the soccer and focus on the team, and for handling everything behind the scenes and in front of the scenes as well in that final week to give us a chance to go out and compete. I just want to say, I know Nate was introduced as the only coach in Dublin-Jerome's history for boys soccer, and just to have the opportunity to coach underneath him, to learn from him. A long, long time ago, back at Davis Middle School, I was his student, and then to come full circle to play against him when I was at Scioto, and to come and coach against him at Kaufman, and then come coach with him at Jerome has been a privilege. Dublin is tremendously lucky to have somebody as integrous, high character, selfless, and somebody who looks at sports the way I know Dublin City Schools wants to use sports as an avenue to develop young men and women, just like we do in the classroom and through all of our other organizations. So I'm incredibly privileged to serve alongside him. We had a tremendous group of leaders that we got a chance to develop this year, and particularly in our 4 senior captains, Brady Delmore, Mason Justice, Cal DeWalt, and our 1 junior captain, Patty Breelove, as well. So it was an awesome season. I know a lot of you here just saw the final result, but to see how this team grew and took on each part of the process, that made it worth it for us as coaches. It was nice to get the win at the end for sure, but to see the process all year was pretty special. So again, I get to say this as the assistant, but this is I think the top of the class in Columbus and perhaps in Ohio in terms of running a program. So Dublin should be really, really proud to have a champion represented here and a champion program led by Nate Moss. So thank you.
Come back here. Back there, maybe go on that side. Up with you guys. And the rest can go in the front.
Okay, if you're in the front row, if you can take a knee. Squeeze in tight.
Get in there, Coach Moss.
I got you. I got Brian's shoulder. 1, 2, 3. We're going to take a couple. Keep smiling. All right, that should do it. Congratulations.
Hey, real quick, we want to recognize the 8 seniors. So if you're a senior, I'll say your name, just step forward. We'll start here with Jack Jones, senior Brady Delmore, who scored 3 goals in the state final. Behind them, Crew Most, who happens to be related to me. Dylan Kavanaugh, right back there, come up. Connor Hilton, Cal DeWalt, Mason Justice, who saved a majority of the PKs in the final. Nick Myers, who claims he's going to win a hockey state final as well. Is that 8? Is that right? Okay, that's our seniors right there. Thank you.
Coach will get you your
I am.
All right. Good evening, everyone. We're going to move over to the Golden Shamrock Award. The Golden Shamrock Award is now finishing its 35th year in Dublin, and it was founded by Ed Pitnocki, who's behind me. He's an active community member in Dublin as well as a business owner. This award was originally created to recognize staff members in our district who have made outstanding contributions and have had a significant impact through the work they do each and every day. Tonight we have 2 award winners. And at this time, I'd like to ask Scott Zioli to come to the podium to say a few words about our first award winner, Renee Lake.
You ready? Good evening, Dr. Marshausen, members of the Board of Education. It's my honor to recognize Renee Lake as a Golden Shamrock Award recipient. Over the years, I have interviewed hundreds of candidates for positions in our district, and I always leave a few minutes at the end of each interview for questions. Almost without fail, candidates will ask, "What are you looking for in a staff member?" It's an easy question to answer, not always easy to find. A servant heart, a problem solver, a bringer of positive energy. When I hear that question, I immediately think of Renee. As I shared with our staff last Friday, she truly is a leader in our building. Setting the standard for professionalism, dedication, and care, her influence extends far beyond her role as a paraprofessional. A servant heart. Renee consistently puts students and colleagues first. I've seen her quietly step into help a teacher create materials for a student who needed extra support, or spend extra time with a child struggling with a new routine, all without being asked. She anticipates needs, supports others with care, and never seeks recognition, ensuring that everyone from students to staff has what they need to succeed. She's a problem solver. When unexpected challenges arise, schedule shift, coverage is needed, or a student requires extra care, Renee moves into action immediately. I can't count the times I've approached her to troubleshoot situations only to hear, "Don't worry about it, Scott. It's all handled. It's all taken care of." I remember one afternoon when we were short a paraprofessional during an important intervention block, Renee calmly rearranged the schedules, supported multiple students, and made it look effortless. She handles these situations with calm and confidence, making sure every detail is taken care of. She is a bringer of positive energy. Renee walks into Chapman each day with a smile that lifts the entire building. Her warmth, her positive attitude are contagious. Students feel safe, staff feel supported, and everyone benefits from her presence. I often hear colleagues say that Renee's energy makes their days just better. Listen to one what one staff member said about Renee. Renee Lake is superior at her job. She works with some of our building's most sensitive students, those who require the most care, and she approaches every interaction with a steady smile and remarkable positivity. She knows her students' goals, understands what they need to thrive, and collaborates with peers seamlessly to find solutions. She is truly one of a kind. Renee, thank you. Thank you for your heart, your professionalism, and the joy you bring to Chapman each day. Your dedication, your positivity makes a difference in a big way and even in small ways. It's our privilege to honor you tonight. You are everything about what a Golden Shamrock Award winner should be. Congratulations.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start off by saying thank you. I'm beyond honored to receive this award, but I would not be here without the support of the amazing people in this room tonight. Dublin has always been a huge part of my life. Growing up in Dublin, I started at Scottish Corners in kindergarten, all the way through graduating my senior year from Kaufman. When I applied for the para position at Chapman, they decided to take a chance on the 20-year-old with no experience. I owe everything to the Chapman staff that taught me the valuable skills I use every day at work. I would not be here without them. The most important thing that Dublin taught me is putting the students first. Every morning I show up to work with a smile on my face, ready to be the person that the children need me to be. To me, there's no greater joy than seeing our students succeed. Thank you again for selecting me to receive the Golden Shamrock Award. I truly could not have asked for a better building and district to teach me everything I know. Thank you.
And for our next award, I'd like to invite Mrs. Samantha Althouse to the podium to present this next award to Joshua Page.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Marshausen, Board of Education. It is my honor to be here tonight to celebrate a leader who's not just an administrator, but the very heart and soul of Eli Penny Elementary School. Principal Josh Page, our Golden Shamrock Award winner for the month of December. This award recognizes a Dublin City Schools employee who exemplifies excellence, dedication, and service. When I read the nominations for Mr. Page, the evidence wasn't just compelling, it was overwhelming proof that he embodies all of these qualities and more. The hundreds of words and many pages submitted by his staff, parents in the community, and even students painted a clear picture of who Mr. Page is as a leader. First, he was defined by his unwavering student-first dedication. He is described as someone who is always moving, will sub in a classroom, answer phones for the secretary, and even dress up as the school panther. I often joke that when I visit Penny Elementary, I don't know where I'm going to find Josh, but I know he won't be in his office. He has been seen taking time to read with a student in the hallway, and one parent described he even helped their child pick out a toy at the school store, maybe even taught them some math when he gave them a quick little lesson on making change. He has cultivated a school culture where every single child is seen, heard, and valued. Next, he's recognized for his exceptional leadership and support. He is a visionary leader who's implemented school-wide initiatives that have measurably improved both the academic performance and the overall school climate. What makes this so remarkable is that he does this while serving as a compassionate and invaluable mentor to all of his team. Teachers noted that he is always doing what he can do to lighten the load for his staff, but he trusts them while making the tough decisions. He's also a principal described as easy to talk to, and he makes clear decisions after listening to everyone. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, Mr. Page leads with integrity, empathy, and remarkable resilience. It takes a special kind of leader to establish a new administration during the height of a pandemic, and Mr. Page did that, and he did it very well. He shows us all how to press pause, accept responsibility, and work together. His support extends beyond the building. He is a constant presence at all Penny events, building a strong community of relationships and welcoming families with open arms. One parent stated he genuinely loves every student and wants the environment at Eli Penny to be one that is welcoming, safe, and positive. Mr. Page is a champion for all kids. He models what it means to be thoughtful, thorough, and truly student-centered in every decision. His hard work, genuine care, and unwavering dedication makes Eli Penny an elite school. Please join me in congratulating a truly deserving recipient, our Golden Shamrock winner, Josh Page.
All right. Well, I'll make this quick because I have a 4-year-old over there who's losing it a little bit. So thanks, Sam, for your kind words. Appreciate it. Members of the board, Dr. Marchhausen, thank you for the opportunity to be recognized as the December Golden Shamrock Award winner and also to be principal at Eli Penny. I'm much more comfortable standing up here recognizing a student or a staff member than having the spotlight on me, but here we go. It is amazing to see the list of winners over, would you say 30 years? 35 years, and to be recognized alongside them, it feels it's overwhelming, really. It's humbling to know so many people took the time to fill out nominations for me to be the Golden Shamrock Award winner this month, and even more humbling that some of them showed up today. I have some students out there, have some parents and some staff members and colleagues, so thank you very much for taking the time to do that today. I'm blown away every day by the amazing things our staff and students do on a daily basis. From their kindness and curiosity to their academics and acceptance, Penny is an absolutely wonderful place to be. It's an honor to be the principal of Eli Penny and the leader of our awesome Penny learning community. I feel blessed and lucky to be recognized today as an award winner, but also even more to be serving the Penny community. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to presentations for this evening. We have a presentation about Toll's Career and Technical Center update from Mr. Melody.
Good evening, President Rigby, Dr. Marshausen, members of the board. It's always great to see the Golden Shamrock winners, and congratulations to all the state championship team members from Jerome. It's fantastic. So brief update, the Toll's report should be attached to board docs. Just a couple of call outs for you. The enrollment process for the 26-27 school year has started. It opened last Thursday on December 4th, and that will go through January 19th. And then just a reminder that this is a random selection, so everyone that applies to Tolls throughout that period will go through a random selection process for their selection. We do cap each classroom at 25 students. However, there are several programs listed there that have more than one section, some with 2, 3, and even up to 5 sections in pre-nursing. So we do try to flex based on demand. And then finally, part of the enrollment process is selection for full-time or part-time enrollment. That will be finalized later in the year when we know the numbers of people accepted and the number of people that wanted full-time enrollment versus part-time. The Toll's main campus enrollment, currently at 1,209 students. This is down from the original enrollment of 1,302 students, so a decline of 93 students throughout the year. About a third of those withdrew over the summer, and the other 2/3 withdrew at various times throughout the school year. If you look at those numbers, the 93, there were 31 withdrawals from Dublin. It sounds like a big number, but there was also 34 withdrawals from Hilliard. So it's kind of in line with the two largest districts that feed tolls. And these are just students that probably come there that find out that they don't like the environment, or they miss their home school or their friends, or the program wasn't what they thought. So we're going to look to do some exit surveys to see if we can get a little more data on why the students withdraw. The expansion of the Tolls campus facility is still on track. The 50,000 square foot lab and classroom is still on track for December of 26 opening, so a little over a year away, about a year away. And then the Tolls School Board Appreciation Dinner is scheduled for Wednesday, April 22nd. So we will get you invites for that after the first of the year. And then a couple other call outs. Representative Adam Byrd, there's an advocacy town hall on December 19th, next week. And then the adult education program, now that it's accredited, we are looking at expanding several programs for next year. We have currently 6 programs that are under development with a July of 26 start date. And those are electrical, HVAC, broadband infrastructure, expand the metal arc welding, medical assisting, and manufacturing associate. So we're looking to expand the adult education options and better provide the workforce needs of the community. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. All right, I hear none, so have a good evening and happy holidays. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Happy holidays. Thanks for being here. We're going to move on to public participation. And for this, we've allotted 30 minutes. And each speaker who has signed up will have 3 minutes at the podium to speak. And so I will go in the order of sign up here. So the first person on the list is Tracy Borkwin.
Here. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak. I appreciate your concern for what the community has to say. I wanted to speak briefly about what I feel would best support the mental health of all of our students in every high school. I know you're all here because you care about our children. I've heard Mrs. De Silva in particular mention her concern about their mental wellness. In an effort to support the well-being of every child at all 3 high schools, I am asking that when redistricting decisions are final and implemented, you allow all students grade 9 through 12 who are currently in high school at that time the option to stay there as was originally proposed. I do not believe this promise should be changed. I would like you to know I do not have a rising freshman, so I'm speaking strictly as someone who feels compassion and empathy for all of the children in this community. I feel like it's safe to say that no parent in any high school would want their child to be forced to change schools as a result of redistricting if it's not absolutely necessary. With all of the discussions and disagreements, I think we can all agree that the more we protect the mental health of our children, the better. I believe any reasonable person can see just how devastating this unnecessary disruption could be, especially when there is room for all students to stay and finish. Adjusting to high school as a freshman can be a stressful and nerve-wracking experience for any student. To go into it knowing you're going to be moved again and forced to start all over would be crushing. I could understand the need for debate if there were not enough room, but that is not the case. I understand we may all be eager to use the space that is currently being built, but I don't think that the trade-off of the stress and anxiety and heartache of moving the then current high school students can justify completely disrupting them to occupy this space. I think anyone who suggests that this is a good decision likely does not have a student who would be forced to move. I think if they did, they would understand the reasonable request to wait. I also want to remind you that depending on how the maps are drawn, some of these same students have already gone through multiple redistricting. To put them through yet one more when it is absolutely not necessary seems almost cruel, especially when it was we adults who did not complete the redistricting process in time. They're innocent in all of this and should not pay such a hefty price. Given the hundreds, if not thousands, of hours you have all spent serving our schools, I know that you all really care about these children. I am asking you simply to think this through, and when discussions resume in January, that you immediately declare the decision to let all high school students stay if they choose. Alleviate the stress and worry so many of them are already experiencing even now as they wait to see how things will go. Don't punish these kids because we adults struggled to complete the task this fall. Please, I urge you, stand up for these children, protect them, and give them peace.
Thank you. Next up is Rachel Cleary.
Transparency has been a big topic lately. Dr. M brought it up during his explanation for the redistricting pause. Turn-up transparency was a key part of Ms. De Silva's re-election campaign. Push for transparency was a key pillar of Ms. McLean's platform, according to her statements to the Dispatch. And Ms. Seward's Facebook page even included a statement about transparency. It's a hot topic. But the way we've been talking about transparency is mostly focused on commitment to process transparency. We also need to align on transparency of purpose. What are we trying to do here? The answer to this question is going to inform everything we need to do regarding redistricting. We all know that Jerome is going to be over capacity and that we want to avoid future redistricting. If those are the only things that matter, we'd likely end up with some sort of proximity-based map. But there seems to be something else that we're trying to do, and that's where the need for more transparency of purpose comes into play. We're talking about moving kids around based on free and reduced lunch percentages, and we want to avoid making diversity worse. What are we trying to accomplish exactly? No matter which building the kids are in, their lunches are still covered by the government. And recent board meetings discuss everyone's equal access to intervention specialists and academic programs. So what exactly are we trying to do? Additionally, in the same Dispatch article I cited earlier, Ms. De Silva's #1 key issue was ensuring every student has an excellent, individualized educational experience no matter which building they attend or what their circumstances may be. And this sort of meeting kids where they're at is a common theme. If we are committed to ensuring that all students receive an individualized education, no matter which building they're going to be in, why are we talking about moving kids from so far away under some of the proposals? Why can't everyone just generally go to their closest school? In 2019, during the redistricting that happened then, Dr. Holdley told ABC6, neighborhood schools, children walking to school, parents walking their kids to school, that's long been a part of our DNA. It's all about making sure all children achieve at high levels, not busing children around this district just to create some, what I'll call a fictional type of equality. If we're trying to use redistricting to address some sort of equality goal, then we need to hold ourselves accountable for being transparent about that. This sort of redistricting changes the culture of the district and requires the buy-in of all members of the district before we pursue it. Transparency can't be a value that we cite when it serves us while ignoring it when it doesn't. We have to be 100% transparent about both the purpose and the process. During recent board meetings, I've heard extremely stilted discussions about socioeconomic considerations with redistricting, where folks were sort of implying things but not actually stating them outright. We need to bring that all into the light. And if there's something we can't talk about because it's illegal, then we shouldn't be doing it. We are considering blowing up the lives of a bunch of children that are currently in middle school. Middle school, it's terrible. Everybody hates middle school. And we owe it to them to be able to clearly articulate to them why. If we're trying to accomplish some sort of diversity or socioeconomic goal, we need to be able to clearly explain how redistricting is the best or only way to do that, and how it benefits all the kids, including the ones that are being asked to leave the friends they've known since elementary school. Yes, many of these kids are very privileged, but they're still just children. Children facing the mental health damage from a major disruption in their lives because the adults in the room can't have an honest conversation about what we're trying to do. The kids deserve better than that.
Thank you. Ashley Benton.
Hi there. My name is Ashley Benton, and I'd like to request the board to separate out two problem statements for redistricting when we look to restart. I think this is where we failed in the fall. One, you need to remove 600 kids from Jerome and add 500 to Scioto and underutilized Kaufman. For the second problem statement, you wanted to look at an unclear goal of diversity, social economics, and varying academic performance. For this, I'm going to talk through a personal example and research as to why you can't blend the two and expect results outside of a performative fix, which is what proposed MAP 3 would have done, and I really don't think help the kids that you really want to help. I was a kid that needed that help. I grew up in an apartment off Bethel Road with a single mom and a sister, and my mom's a social worker, and I went to Columbus Public Schools. My mom had no capacity at the end of the day to help me or take me anywhere. So my community stepped in, and they enabled me to do after-school activities, and my school bridged the gap at home. I needed significant help in elementary school with reading and speech therapy. I can say my R's now, though, so thank goodness. and it took me years to reach my peers. However, by middle school I did, and I accelerated. I got a full ride to Denison University. I was valedictorian and a captain of all my sports teams, and I have a thriving career right now. But if you think sending kids to my school that made 5 to 10 times more than my mom would have fixed it, that is simply not true. It would have enhanced my school profile for sure, and they probably would have taken the spots on my team because we couldn't afford club sports. If you're actually looking to help the kids, research shows the significant time to help them is age 0 to 5, next to elementary school. Middle and high school is simply going to be performative. The other caution is to look at Columbus Public. They recently got rid of their high school busing. We are not immune to this. We have limited bus drivers and we have limited budget. Our district is unlikely to approve another levy, and you need to pick the most cost-effective route. There is an option to keep the kids closest to their high school and the least amount of kids crossing the bridge, and we proved that out. This would be the most effective, and it would keep the kids at their closest high school and improve feeder patterns for middle school and high schools. Please focus on the kids. I see myself when people talk about low-income apartment kids that need more help. A performative fix at the middle and high school level won't help kids, and it will blend and hide the data to truly help the kids that need it. Please focus on feeder patterns and proximity for redistricting. We understand that 100% of feeder patterns clearly demonstrate strong community, pride, and culture, and Eversole and Davis get that. And I think you all see that. It's phenomenal. We should make that a priority for all of Dublin. We need to keep Dublin bikeable, walkable, and sustainable. That is our core goal of Dublin. And we have a limited budget, and we have limited bus drivers. And you need to work within that. So please think through that and separate out these goals and have a clear path when you restart in January. It's about the kids, and please keep that in the forefront. Thank you.
Thank you. Amanda White.
Hello, my name is Amanda White. I am a Scioto graduate, class of 2001. I purchased a home here in Dublin in 2013 so my family could have all of the positive experiences I had growing up. Kickball games in our cul-de-sac, backyard football, wonderful neighbors, and an even better school district. We live in Bristol Commons and my children attend Griselle and Bailey, sorry. My boys started elementary school at Wyandotte and were redistricted in 2020. My oldest is the class of 2030 and a current 8th grader, and will attend Kaufman next year. Since 4th grade, 5 seasons, he has been a water boy for Kaufman football, and next year he will finally get to play for them. My 6th grader has also been a water boy since 4th grade, 3 seasons, and dreams of playing with his brother under the Kaufman lights. Living down the street from Kaufman made it a no-brainer to invest our time and loyalty into their future school, not my alma mater. Neighborhood schools are the backbone to any great community. Shuffling children around to further away schools hurts those community ties. As the district has entered in the cooling off period of redistricting, my neighbors and I have stayed nice and warm. As the district warms up in January, I have a few requests. 1, complete transparency as this process starts over. This will aid in the reduction of public records requests and will keep the costs down. 2, if there's any other intention around redistricting besides filling Scioto and making space for growth at Jerome, that it be clearly defined. For groups like the key communicators that have people that have not been showing up to be removed from the group to allow engaged members of the community to join. For redistricting policy 5120 to not be amended. Like in a business, we hire a CEO, a superintendent, who is an expert in that field. The board then advises the superintendent, CEO, but the CEO, superintendent, has the final say. DCS hired Dr. Marchhausen because he is an expert in his field. Please allow him to use his expertise. When speaking with Mrs. De Silva in the fall, she mentioned that she did not think it would be a good for the Board of Education to have a vote due to their biases.
I agree with that sentiment. We all have biases in this community. Please let Dr. Marchhausen do what he was hired to do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mill Mahali or Mahale? Dave Teal.
Thank you. I'm going to talk about a couple things that we've talked about in other meetings. Some of the redistricting issues, I didn't mean to talk about it, but you brought up good topics. But I'm going to go back to a meeting, I think it was in September, when Dr. Marchhausen, we got through talking about redistricting, and it was very, I don't want to say heated, but let's say spirited. But at the tail end of that, or after that, Dr. Marchhausen said the biggest issue we face in this district is funding. And I've been aware of that for years now. I think we need to look at that. If you're online at all on any social media, you see all kinds of talks about it, about our tax situation, about the cost of housing, and the chances of us passing another levy, I think, are very slim. At the rate we're spending money, I believe we're in deficit spending, Brian can tell me, sometime early in the next year. Is that right, Brian? Now, I don't think we're going to pass another levy myself. I think with the cost of housing for young people, I think that's a real problem in America, but I don't think we're going to do that. I don't think they're able to afford houses. I'd like to see that change. And I think retired people are also in the same situation. I think everybody's being pressed. So my question is to Dr. Marchhausen, where do we stand on that? Where does the board stand on it? I think there's a lot of opportunity to save money and keep I mean, this was a wonderful evening listening to all the people that did so well in their sport. But we need to keep that up, and we're out of money. That's a basic fact. It's unsustainable what we're doing. So I would like to address Dr. Marchhausen and the board about how we're going to solve that. I think there's a lot of ways to do it, but I don't see anybody focusing on it. Doctor?
We're not having back and forth during this type of public participation, but
okay.
You and I have talked, and I'm always willing to talk, but not during public participation.
All right, and I assume the board has the same answer. Is everybody on the board willing to talk individually?
I will speak. I know you and I have had conversations, and I'm certainly willing to talk. I will not be on the board in January. I'm sure your individual board members would be willing to speak to you. The public participation format that we have for tonight is 3 minutes per person at the podium, and it's not for engagement back and forth. But I know that you will reach out to the board individually if you would like to speak to them and find out where they stand on the budget.
Okay, and I do think we have wonderful, every department head that I've ever dealt with or listened to, I think they're very, very competent. I know them over time. But I think if everybody focuses on this, there's a lot of solutions there. Thank you.
Thank you. Rick Gaffey.
Good evening. Following along with the financial discussions that Dave was mentioning, I just want to say I hope that everyone on the board, and specifically the new people that will be on the board, have been paying attention to the news cycle lately about the Columbus Public Schools waking up and finding that they're in a deficit of $50 million. and now they're faced with making draconian, as they quote, draconian cuts to their staff and to other services. What I'd like to propose or ask you all is, does the board here have any plans in the works other than responsible staffing to curtail any budget deficits that may be coming up in 26? And that's all I have to say. I hope you're focusing on that.
Thank you. Amy Starnes.
Good evening. My name is Amy Starnes. I've been a Dublin resident since 2004. I have a 2025 SIOTA graduate and a current SIOTA sophomore. What I could say tonight could have been an email. You'll probably get some from me anyway. But I want to say thank you first for the change and public participation. I think it means a lot, clearly, to the community to have this opportunity. SIOTA parents sat back during the redistricting process, knowing that we will welcome any new students and families into our Irish nation. However, in the end, we were compelled to speak up against the legalized battle and emotional disparaging of our school. As a district, we should be asking ourselves why so many in our community fought so hard to be marked safe from SIOTA. I asked that the district look at their responsibility for changing the perception of SIOTA. If the community understood what it looks like inside a SIOTA classroom and our building at large, many of the concerns about changing attendance boundaries would become irrelevant. We are fighting against perceptions that we have gangs, metal detectors, that we don't offer AP classes or participate in Emerald Campus academies. We are fighting against perceptions that our students, SIOTA students, do not receive the same quality education as the other two high schools, and that for those who choose college, their chances of admittance are lessened by attending SIOTA. If any of these are true, why is that? And what is the district's plan for resources and improvement? SIOTA is a proud community who supports and lifts up those in need and challenges those at the top to reach even higher. We value the opportunity to teach our children the power of caring and commitment to a greater good. I'm not asking you to convince everyone that SIOTA is amazing, but I'm asking you to think about what the rebranding of SIOTA will look like after this process is complete. How will we keep our 4 stars or improve to an equal 4.5 or 5 stars with all of the need in one building? I also ask that the district take a look at their responsibility for finding ways to promote a One Dublin high school experience outside the classroom. As with band fundraising across the district, what would athletics look like if home game ticket sales were evenly divided among athletic departments? What would the theater department look like if there was money available to free and reduced lunch actors to help fund productions? What would participation in after-school events look like if more busing was provided? There are more creative ways to meet students where they are than we're currently utilizing. Lastly, in this new version of redistricting, I urge you to focus on proactive transparency and a well-rounded community participation. Have a schedule for updates. Provide more listening sessions where the speakers on all sides have equal opportunity to share. Provide reports on community focus group activities. Reach out to the areas in our community who are typically underrepresented. We have families who may be unfamiliar with their rights to speak up for what they would choose for their children. Their voices count too. Please make sure that as a board, superintendent, and community focus groups make an effort to gather information from all sides and not just receive it from the loudest voices.
Thank you. And last, we have Sean Kaiser. Kaiser like laser.
Well, good evening, everyone. President Rigby and members of the Board of Education, Dr. Marshausen, Treasurer Kern. I got to tell you, I'm not Board of Education. I've been doing this for 31 years, and every day is a great challenge. I love it. I've been a teacher for your district since 1995. I've worked at Kaufman. I've worked at Carr Middle School when it first opened, and I've worked at Grizel Middle School most of those years, teaching history and government for you. I'm here tonight as not really much of a member of the society or community, but more as a teacher. I just want to inform you that I've decided to run for the Ohio House of Representatives. I've talked about it with my wife, who's also a teacher. We've thought about it a great deal, and I feel like it's a continuation of my service to the families and the children of the community. So I plan on teaching this year and next year while I run for this office, but I wanted to bring this information to you tonight so you can hear it from me first. As we head into this big, I guess you would say, a birthday of the United States, 2020. I try not to be a history teacher tonight, but it's hard not to get away from this. When we head into this year of America's birthday, you know, this republic only works when people, citizens, step forward and run for office. So I hope to be kind of an inspiration to my students. You know, I've told them for the last 31 years in Dublin City Schools that they should step forward and get involved and make a difference. And so after all these years, I've decided to follow my own advice. So I wanted to inform you, I've talked to Dr. Marshausen, and he said this would be the best venue of letting you know that. So if you have any questions or anything, you can reach out to me, but I just wanted to go on record tonight and let you know that.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes public participation. So we are going to move on to Board President and Board of Education comments. The first item is the approval of the resolution to reappoint Brian Kern as the treasurer. So it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the resolution to reappoint Brian Kern as treasurer and CFO of Dublin City Schools. I'll motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Gillis. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Rigby?
Yes.
Mrs. Gillis?
Yes.
Mrs. De Silva?
Yes.
And Mrs. Messig?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0. Board of Education Committee reports.
I have two. The first is from DEF. They did their fall grants, which they funded 24 grants for the teachers and activities and students in Dublin City Schools. They fully funded 10 grants and partially funded 14 other grants for a total of $24,510 in grant monies going to new and innovative ideas in the classroom. And then also the Teacher Advisory Council met, and Dr. Marshausen spoke about the impact that our mental health specialists have had meeting students where they're at. Obviously, there's still some kinks to work out with some of it, especially with frequent flyer students and making sure that all students are able to be seen, but it's much better than where it has been. As far as our one district, one purpose, we are beginning an all-in campaign to focus on the fact that we are not just individual buildings, but we do function as a district altogether, and trying to find more commonalities and common times to have all of those school districts to have the entire school district together. The teachers asked questions in the high school about the inequity of the DC trip, where some middle schools are able to, almost all the students are able to go, whereas other middle schools, it's only about a third that are able to go, and what solutions we could maybe come up with for that. There was also discussion about electives at the middle schools and the need for some ongoing professional development to establish full curriculums. A question at the elementary level regarding one-to-one for kindergarten, and the district says no to that, as we want our little ones to not have that much screen time. So we do not want to put one-to-one devices in our littlest hands. And then also the need for more translation apps and pocket talks at the elementary school for our EL students and for teachers in the classroom to be able to quickly communicate with our EL population. Mrs. Rigby, I'm not sure if there's anything else you wanted to add to that.
I don't. Did you talk about after-school activities? That was the only other thing that I had on there. Okay, so after-school activities, just a point of clarification. the issue of cost came up for some of the after-school activities and some of the optics, because some schools have a lot of activities and some have fewer activities. And it was a point of clarification that these are non-district opportunities, and we do not fund them as a district. So the optics, it's understandable that the optics may look the way they do, but it's important to recognize that they are not funded by the school. So that was the only other thing I had to add to your report.
In other words, it's up to those private companies what schools they're going to, and so they're the ones that are choosing which ones. And we have no say, nor can we get involved in that.
I just quickly, the Student Superintendent Advisory Committee was this past Friday. Over lunch, students, Jenny Ambrose got to stop by from Dublin Chamber to note Community Service Day that is in May, tell students about that. I think it's fantastic that Lori Marple is there. The students have such an energy and get to ask, real-time questions and get answers. Topics were anywhere from College Credit Plus to AP coursework to feedback on advisors, et cetera. So that's it. I always feel bad talking about this because I don't know if I'm taking student rep thunder, so I apologize. I try to keep it very short.
No,
Tiffany's up.
I have
Tiffany's
two.
up.
Yes. I attended the annual business meeting of the OSBA Delegate Assembly on November 17th. We heard from the Ohio Superintendent of Public Instruction, who is Paul Kraft. We heard from the Ohio Teacher of the Year. We also heard from the new OSBA CEO, Thomas Hostler. We also elected a new president-elect for 2026, who is Dr. Micah J. Covert, and he is currently serving on the Nelsonville, York City, and Tri-County Career Center Boards of Education, and he has 16 years of board service. The Assembly voted to adopt amendments to the legislative platform which support local control as a foundational principle of Ohio's public educational system. Also, legislation that supports regularly updating all the components and costs of the base funding formula, as well as providing increased and sustainable funding for special education, and establishing and funding universal school meals. So those are all the things that passed that OSBA is in support of. And then the Assembly also voted to adopt amendments that OSBA opposes, so legislation that they would be lobbying against. So legislation that reduces or eliminates tax revenues from voter-approved levies, forces districts to return any revenues once received, or impedes locally elected boards from directing the proceeds of tax revenues for the purposes voters approved. Additional platform amendments that were proposed were to the equity and racism plank, but none of those proposed amendments passed. The Assembly voted to amend the OSBA bylaws under Article 6, basically removing a section of the bylaws that would allow, I'll just read it to you. So it says that any matter not so referred to members of affiliated boards 30 days in advance will require a 2/3 vote for all registered delegates present in order to be placed on the agenda. Basically, they're saying that you need to have 30 days advance notice in order to put it on the agenda for the delegates to vote on. So that paragraph that I just read was deleted. Switching gears to our IB program. Every 5 years, each IB program is required to be reviewed and evaluated. This year was our year to be evaluated, and it's a very thorough process, which started over a year ago and was successfully completed the third week of November. And I'll just read a little bit of what Dr. Julie Blevins had to say in her report. She said that she is pleased to share an exceptionally positive update from the recent International Baccalaureate evaluation that Emerald Campus completed as part of the 5-year review required of all IB World schools, which concluded on November 20th. The intensive evaluation process focuses on program quality, alignment to IB standards, and the overall experience we provide for our students. The IB evaluation team highlighted Emerald Campus as a highly collaborative learning community, noting that our success is rooted in the combined strength of our outstanding teachers, supportive leadership, and meaningful district support. They affirmed the culture rooted in trust, reflective practice, and student-centered decision-making, which sets Emerald Campus apart and positions the IB program as a leader among IB World schools. So thank you to Sandra Snodgrass, our IB staff, Lindy Schweitzer, our IB parents and students, and our past Emerald Campus IB coordinators, and Jen Hinder, and of course, thank you to Julie Blevins. That's it.
Nothing else. Now we will hear from our student representative, Brick.
Hi. There is surprisingly not a ton of stuff going on within like the schools probably because of winter break. But at Kaufman, a lot of winter sports are kind of picking up. Hockey, wrestling, basketball, and at a lot of the other schools, there are a lot of concerts going on. So I know at Kaufman, the choir and orchestra holiday concert is tonight, or not tonight, Thursday night. I believe that there's also a concert at Scioto. That's it for Kaufman. Jerome is preparing freshmen for midterms. I mean, obviously, very scary. Guidance is also slowly talking about scheduling, which is good. Seniors are also submitting their final applications under regular decision, and teachers and guidance counselors are being helpful. Jerome is also starting a new pilot leadership program, which I don't think she wanted me to say this, but Nancy is going to talk about at the next meeting. Thank you, Nancy. At Emerald Campus, sophomores are visiting to kind of get a better idea of what they would want to do with their classes or for scheduling for next year. I believe Kaufman's is next Friday, and so is, sorry, I'm reading it, I didn't read it beforehand. Jerome had their visit on the 5th, and Scioto and Kaufman will have theirs on the 11th and 12th, respectively. Thank you.
Thank you. Reports and action items from the superintendent. Dr. Marshausen.
Good evening. Just a couple things tonight. First of all, I would like to take a moment to thank Mrs. Rigby and Mrs. Gillis for your service on the board. As we look at what's happened over the last 4 years, there are always times that there's a lot that goes on. And if we look at the accomplishments that this board has achieved since 2021 under your leadership, we've put an addition on Jerome High School. We passed issue 12, put an addition on the preschool. We opened a new elementary in Bishop Elementary. We're putting an addition on Scioto High School. We've successfully done elementary and middle school redistricting. We've implemented the responsible staffing plan, and we've continued to be one of the leading districts in the state of Ohio. This isn't possible without the amazing service of board members like you all, and Mrs. Rigby, Mrs. Gillis, we will miss you both, and I am grateful for the opportunity to have served and worked with you. Thank you very much.
I'll just take this. I mean, it has been a pleasure working with each and every one of you. We came in at such an interesting time in our world as COVID was still so active in our lives. I'm really glad that we've evolved and been able to accomplish amazing things. I'd like to add all-day kindergarten to that list, which I feel very proud about, even though I'm not going to experience it, but I do feel proud about that one. People keep saying to me that being a board member is a very thankless job, and I don't know that I would say that, because this opportunity has allowed me such an insight to public education and how phenomenal we are as a school district. And wow, that has been a reward. I have always said that it takes one teacher to change a student's life. And after my experience, like, I believe this even more. The teachers in our district, our administrators, everyone sitting in this room, you are a backbone why we have an issue with growth. We are able to do everything we do because of what you sacrifice daily in our classrooms. And that probably is a thankless job and does not go unnoticed. We are nothing without our teachers. Thank you all for everything that you put into this district. It has been an honor to serve with all of you and get to know you, and I am a better person because of it, and that's it. Thank you all so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful break and New Year's, and I hope to not goodbye forever. See you around.
I think I should have gone first because you took about like 90% of what I wanted to say.
You could say it again. It's never too much.
No, it's just, I just want to take this time to thank the community that allowed or provided the support for me to be in this role, to serve this district in this way. It has really, as Lindsay said, been an honor. And I am very proud to serve alongside our board members. It was, yes, a tumultuous time when we started, but I think we got the ship righted, and I want to thank Dr. Marshausen for his leadership and being able to kind of guide us as 3 new board members, and just, you know, a very difficult time to start. And as a parent, you get to see the teachers, and you get to see the classroom and the other students, and you know the impact of that, and you know why you chose Dublin. The great thing about this position is you get to see the inner workings and the reason the teachers are so good. And it's because of everybody sitting at this table. I am honored to get to know all of you, and I am so impressed by everyone that I meet, and the dedication that you all have, and the focus that you have for each and every individual student in a district this size is impressive. So we're going to continue to have growth problems because we are great, and I know you guys will do a fantastic job leading that growth. So thank you.
I just want to really quickly say thank you both for your dedication and service. It's been a lot, and I appreciate you serving. Thank you.
I as well want to thank you both. When I came on, you guys really, everybody took me under their wing and really helped out. My first few months were a little crazy, and I really appreciate the grace that you all gave me as I worked through some health issues, as well as so much learning in this job, and how wonderful you both have been to support the Dublin City Schools. You both have such big hearts for this district, and it really shows. And the district is better off for having you guys lead it. Thank you.
And as we thank Mrs. Rigby and Mrs. Gillis, we also plan for the onboarding of Mrs. McLean and Mrs. Seward. This week, on Thursday, they will spend a full day with our staff. And I think those of you who have gone through this process, it's much better than a 3-ring binder with how do you become a board member. A day with everyone who sits at this table, getting to know the people who lead our departments is critical, because I think, as all of you would attest to, it's the relationships and being able to know if I've got a special education question, I can get in touch with Mr. Andrus or someone on his team, and that's how we find the answers. So on Thursday, our new board members will spend a day with all of us as we start to build those relationships and build that trust, so that when January comes, they will be able to hit the ground running. And one of the things that Dr. Schwanke has led as we go through this, at the end of that day, there'll be a time when we're all together and you get to ask questions. Because, as some of you have pointed out, as you went through the day, you had questions that you kind of wanted to go back and ask people. So we'll end that day with a question and answer with our leadership team. And start to get those folks ready for what's next. And then next week, I'll be meeting with the two people sitting at this table who will still be here next year as we start to plan some of those important issues, such as redistricting and school funding and what does it look like and how we're going to move forward there. So as we look back and say thank you, we look forward and say we'll be ready for whatever challenges face us next. As we did tonight, public participation in 2026 will go to the format that we used this evening at both board meetings at each month. We've had some individuals ask if they could sign up for all of the board meetings in 2026 because they wanted to get in that top 10 so they could talk at each board meeting. So what we're going to do is the Monday before each board meeting, we will open signups at 6 a.m. So from that time, we will allow people to sign up if they would like to be those folks who participate. And we will, as a board, be very mindful when it comes to our redistricting focus groups and our redistricting opportunities for engagement to make sure that it is balanced district-wide. But it will be first come, first serve, 3 minutes, total of 30 minutes at each of those meetings. And then, before I get to any questions, tomorrow evening on ABC 6 at 7:30, they're holding a special called Healthy Minds. And I had the honor and privilege of sitting with Dr. Angela Chapman of the Columbus City Schools and Mr. David Stewart, superintendent of the Hilliard City Schools. And the three of us shared with the folks at Channel 6 some of the things that we are each doing in our school districts and the work that we're doing as part of Channel 6's Healthy Mind series. So if you want to see that tomorrow, apparently they're running a clip that's promoting that. So people have pointed that out. So I didn't want you guys to be surprised if you saw your superintendent on television. Excuse me? 7:30. And like most things on television now, if you can't watch that, I'm sure that ABC 6 will have that later on their website for anyone who wants to see it. Can I provide any answers to questions from members of the board? Okay, President Rigby, back to you.
We'll move on then to reports and action items from the Treasurer's Office. Mr. Kern?
Yes. First, I'd like to thank the entire board for your confidence and faith and reappointing me as treasurer. We appreciate all that you do in service and help within our department and all departments throughout the district. But we do take, I do, and I know my department takes, and I couldn't do this without my department. I think we have the best treasurer's department in the state. But we take our job very seriously, whether it's clean audits and the Auditor of State Award, but forecasting, whatever it may be, throughout there, we take it, and that accountability to our public, we take it very seriously. So thank you again for that appointment. And then I know I'm coming last, so I don't, everyone said everything out there, but Mrs. Rigby and Mrs. Gillis, thank you for your time and your service to the community, the students, and the staff of this district is much appreciated, and thank you again very much for your time and dedication. As far as the agenda this evening, there's a lot of stuff on here, but a lot of it's wrapped up in what Mrs. Messick talked about, the DEF grants and different inner workings with that. And so I gave you guys an update over the weekend of kind of what's on the agenda and how everything works, but we'll go over it here again real quick. We have approval of our November financial report. As you can see, we're online with estimates at this point in the year in the general fund. Just one thing I want to remind everyone is with the new updates and forecasting, as we talk about that, there'll be another update in February. So approval of tax advance settlements. Normally you would see this as part of the standing authorizations for the treasurer for the year as part of the organizational meeting in 2026. But as I said, the Franklin County, which is our predominant county when it comes to real estate tax collections, and when we talk about accountability to our public, and it's been out there, is we're predominantly funded from the local side in real estate taxes. So we are allowed to take 90% of the collections that from billed at one point, and they have a schedule throughout the year, or throughout the first half of taxes to be collected. Bills are going to be due later than normal, about probably a month and a half later. They're going to be due March 2nd this year, when they're typically due about the middle to late January. So as part of that in their tax settlement schedule, if we do not approve this now and wait until the organizational meeting, we wouldn't be able to get to a tax advance until February. We use this as part of planning investment of our interim and monies that we have, but also cash flow estimates that we have. We won't run out of money or anything like that, or we will be, of course, be that, but we do have that as part of our planning and change of that. So we would like to have that authorization now so we can begin those collections as soon as possible. Approval of our multi-use facility workers. This is something you see every year as they begin their work throughout the winter here. Then finally here we have the three things here kind of with the Dublin Education and grants. Mrs. Messick went over some of those grants, kind of what they are, and we've listed them each one here. And yes, they total $24,510. Those are listed for your approval this evening. The appropriation change is also, that goes along with that, and then also two other local grants that our buildings received. To be able to spend that money, we have to appropriate it. And then the last two here, if you remember, back in December of 2023, you approved to invest what we commonly refer to as the Pepsi monies, which is still on our books as recorded 029, but we are allowed to invest with the Columbus Foundation as trustees of those investments, and earn. What allows them to do is they invest in stuff that has potential greater return than we can here at the district. It does have more risk, but it is allowed by statute, Ohio statute, to be able to do that. We approve that through the Columbus Foundation as trustee to be able to access those monies, which is only the interest earning. The principal has to be maintained, which is approximately $195,000. But to maintain those interest earnings, we have to have by resolution of the board and 2/3 approval of this board to be able to have access to those trustees to help fund those DEF grants. So that resolution is on the approval. We will forward this to the Columbus Foundation to be able to receive a portion of those interest earnings that we have received. We also have the transfer. This is more of a bookkeeping type thing, as 029 is our DEF Foundation funds, or the Pepsi monies that are on our books. But we do account for the local DEF grants at each building in our 019 funds. And so we will, this is a transfer of those monies to be able to fund those grants at each individual building over from the 029 to the 019 funds to, as they carry out their work and spend the money that was approved as part of the DEF grants. So is there any questions from anyone?
Okay, if there are no questions, it's recommended by the treasurer that the board approve items 7B through 7J. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Gillis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Messick. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Gillis?
Yes.
Mrs. Messick?
Yes.
Mrs. De Silva?
Yes.
And Mrs. Rigby?
Yes. Motion passes 4-0. Reports from the Department of Academics and Student Learning. Dr. Schwanke.
Our report tonight will be from Mrs. Marple, so I'm going to turn it right over to you, Lori. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Good evening. At the last board meeting, I was able to share with you the proposed changes to the academic programs and pathways for both middle school and high school for the 2026-27 school year. Crazy to think we're already there. Tonight, this is presented for a second reading and approval, but before I take any remaining questions and pass that to you for a vote, I wanted to share our next steps with you as far as our middle school and high school scheduling process, which will be underway after the first of the year. So first, I want to tell you that the teaching and learning team has been partnering with the technology team in-house to prepare our systems on the back end. They work directly with our buildings to ensure that the buildings are ready to implement the scheduling system, which is completely within Infinite Campus now. We're also designing resources and programs for our students and families, so watch for information about the opportunities both at the district level and the building level after the first of the year. Today, I met with Cassie and we went through a communication plan. So we have a very targeted communication plan at both levels, middle school and high school, starting really the end of this week all the way through February, as we do things like not just the student scheduling, but also instrument fittings and 6th grade parent welcome night and the high school 9th grade welcome night for the families. Lots going on after the first of the year. So thanks to the communications department. Our student services and English learning departments, you don't see them out front all the time, but they are constantly working behind the scenes with our teachers and our students to ensure that all of our students have scheduled for success and have the necessary proper supports in place for the following school year. Our principals and school counselors, they are in classrooms, they are supporting students and answering questions and holding special nights for families at their schools to make sure that everybody is ready to make the right choices. It seems early, and we know that, but these numbers that we get from our students in January and February help us plan, and so it's a very important part of that. And so I would be remiss if I didn't mention the importance of our teachers, our parents, and our students in this process. I encourage our students and our parents to reach out to classroom teachers if they have questions about the courses that we have. Our counselors have a large number of students that they support, so please know that our teachers are there as well. We know that there is a lot of information, so we try to push it out in many different formats for you. Your students will get some emails. You will get some emails. There will be videos on the website. There will be voiceovers sent from the principal to the students to explain how things will work. Counselors will walk kids through things in their classroom. So we just encourage you to talk with your child and think about what they want to take and what they need to take so that we can ensure that all of our students have all of the parts and pieces that they can graduate on time, and we can celebrate that with you. We know that our parents know their students, and we know that our teachers and our counselors and our principals know what we have to offer here. And all of this is really important in our families' planning ahead so that we, as a school district, can be as efficient and productive as possible for the kids that we serve. The numbers that come during student scheduling, they are the numbers that then we collaborate with Brian Boney and his team to staff. So this vote tonight sets off that scheduling where everybody in this district has their hands in different parts and pieces that lead to a successful school year. So just wanted to share that piece with you tonight as far as any next steps and all of the pieces that go into that. With that said, does the board have any questions regarding the academic programs in front of you this evening? We thank you.
I would like to say, too, that there is nothing better to vet a compilation of work than the Student Advisory Council on Friday.
Very true.
It's very true. Mrs. Marple took a lot of questions on Friday from the students. If there was going to be a flaw or an omission, they found it. So
I walk out of there every time. These kids make me better.
We learned something. So thank you, Brick, and tell your 25 friends they did a great job getting us ready for tonight.
Well, and it was that council 2 years ago that pushed this process to now with a first reading in February and a second reading in December. Because this used to be first reading in December, second meeting in January, and the students said, we don't have enough time to look through all this and talk to our parents and get with our counselors and our teachers. So when you talk about groups that we listen to, that group influences so much of what we do, and they are just so honest, especially when they get to be seniors. The freshmen, even Brick, you guys were quiet. Like, the freshmen are quiet at the beginning, but by the time they're juniors and seniors, they come at us. But it makes us better. And every meeting, Mr. Stark, we hear about the Kaufman roof leaking too. So we're working on that, and I tell them, right? We tell them, we're on it. So.
Rick hasn't complained once in the past month.
Yeah, a month. Yeah.
World record.
Yep.
And the positive, too, is sometimes they have questions that it's not just us sitting there and saying, okay, we'll add that, or yes, we can do that. Sometimes their questions get an answer of no, and here's why. And they're very grateful for the explanation and very mature about understanding sometimes it's a no. So thank you. And thank you to Mrs. Marple and your team for all of this work. Lots of work went into this.
Yes, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for the collective effort, because we are now ready to vote on all of that hard work. So it is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education approve the middle school and high school academic programs for the 26-27 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Mrs. Messick, and second by Mrs. De Silva. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Messick,
Yes.
Mrs. De Silva,
Yes.
Mrs. Gillis,
Yes.
and Mrs. Rigby.
Yes, motion passes 4-0. Reports from the Department of Operations. Mr. Stark.
Good evening. We have quite an agenda here, so I'll get started. The first one is we have a resolution to purchase 12 new school buses, and this is from the meta bid that the board approved back in August that we took part in. It's a cooperative bid. It's real important to us that we try to turn our entire bus fleet every 12 to 14 years. So we've been watching this, and these 12 buses will cost approximately $1.8 million. The next item up is a bond issue that we promised back in 2023, and this is to replace the aging fire alarm system at Kaufman High School. This is similar to what we did at Jerome last year and at Sells, same type of routine, and we would start that probably right in the winter pending board approval. Next up is roofs. We're talking about roofs. We have a lot of roofs here. This is for the Griselle Middle School roof. The roof is so large at Griselle, it's going to take us 2 summers, this summer and next summer, and we're going to bid them independently. So this is for about half the roof at Griselle. Same with Wyandotte. Wyandott's going to take us 2 years to do. We're trying to push it through as 1 year, but we only have approximately 10 to 12 weeks per year to do roofing work, because if you do it during the school year, it interrupts teaching and learning, and Mrs. Marple will not have that. So we have that 10 to 12 week period. Next up also, we are a resolution to approve scoreboard replacements. This is at all 3 high schools for approximately $387,000. This will put video scoreboards at all 3 of our high schools, replacing all of them that are in the stadium today. These were designed by a design firm and with the participation of all our athletic directors at each site. And while they look different, they all look kind of the same. They're a little differently just because of the size of the stadium and the size of the structure up there, but they all have that same look and feel. Next up is something that, this is new for me, because we usually spend money here in operations, but this is a revenue-producing piece. This is at Scioto High School. We have 2 cell towers, and we've been working on extending their leases. And these leases, and I put it in the board report a couple times, it's a little involved, but they'll bring in quite a bit of revenue, and we got very good rate hikes on all of that, and especially even if there's subleases on it. So this will extend one of the leases to July of 2057 and one of them to 2046. And lastly, we're asking for an extension, a no-cost extension. Years ago, the Jerome Village Authority provided the school district with 2 parcels of land. One was basically free, and that ended up being the where DEP and Eversol is today. And then they gave us an option 2 land, which is not free, but if we were to choose to exercise it, it would be at whatever market rate is at that time. This is a no cost to the district to hold on to this option. Our option expires in February of next year, and we're asking for board approval tonight to allow the treasurer to send a notice to the Jerome Village community to extend it another 10 years. So if and when the district were to choose to use that land, we have the option to do so. So I went through that kind of quickly. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to address them.
I just have a question on the scoreboards. I know a lot of these things you have to do. You need new roofs, you need buses that work, but the scoreboards, if, you know, I've had parents comment, why do we need new scoreboards? Why do we need to be spending money on that? Why is it important that they're all uniform? Can you just address that, please?
Sure. Well, the Jerome scoreboard was replaced about 10 years ago with a used board, and that is now around end of life. The Kaufman scoreboard has been breaking on and off to where we had to rent a portable scoreboard that we used last year, which is quite something because it takes it takes a village, like the whole maintenance team with a lift to put the scoreboard. And Scioto has been having intermittent problems. So it's a cost of doing business type of thing. You need to have a scoreboard. And when we looked at it with the video in place, since we're probably not going to have another scoreboard for hopefully for 20 years, 15 to 20 years, we wanted to get technology that would last during that time, and that's basically the reason for it. But 2 out of the 3 high schools were lucky to get another season or 2 out of it, and Scioto is starting to decline quickly.
And to the point that was brought up during public participation, there are things that you don't want to just leave to the booster clubs because we would have very different scoreboards at all 3 high schools. And also, what we've learned over the years is when Mr. Stark gets things done, he gets it done on time, the bids are done right, the construction timelines are solid. And as the superintendent, I would much rather have these things run through Jeff's office when this is his core competency. Our ADs are amazing. They're great with coaches. They're great with kids. They're great with schedules. They're not great with public bids because it's not what they do every day. So by funneling all this through our operations department, it is uniformity. We know we're getting the best price. We know we're not buying a scoreboard like, and I can say this because Jay wasn't there, the scoreboard at Jerome, you can't buy the parts for anymore because it's, and as those LED squares go out, we're just done. So now we can hold Jeff accountable for 15 years that this is going to work. We're getting good quality things, and it's the same at all 3 high schools. So part of that was our leadership team saying, no, Jeff, you do this.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? If not, it's recommended by the superintendent that the board approve items 11A through 11G. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. De Silva. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Messick. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. De Silva,
Yes.
Mrs. Messick,
Yes.
Mrs. Gillis,
Yes.
and Mrs. Rigby.
Yes. Motion passes 4-0. Reports from Human Resources. Mr. Boney.
Good evening, members of the board. Starting with our certified agenda tonight, you'll see 4 retirements. Melody Allen is going to retire from Thomas Elementary with 19 years in Dublin. Aaron Bentley, retiring from Jerome High School with 32 years in Dublin. Randy Boyce is retiring from Jerome with 31 years here. And then Shayla Chandler, also retiring from Jerome High School with 31 years in our district. You'll see 2 requests for 6-period pay. That's for the upcoming semester, just due to need. And you'll note 4 unpaid leave of absence requests that are on tonight as well. The remainder of those items that are on the certified section are for upcoming athletics, along with a few club requests. Moving on to the classified agenda, you'll see 1 retirement and then 5 resignations. The retirement is for Steve Barrington. He's going to retire from Kaufman High School with 30 years in Dublin. We have 6 new hires and then just a few additional items that are related to salary adjustments and unpaid leaves. The final item that's on the HR section is for stipends, and there are 2 of them, and they're for the ice hockey faculty representatives at Dublin Jerome and Dublin Kaufman High Schools. And that concludes the HR portion of the agenda tonight.
It's recommended that from the superintendent that the board approve items 13A through 13C. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Gillis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. De Silva. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Gillis,
Yes.
Mrs. De Silva,
Yes.
Mrs. Messick,
Yes.
and Mrs. Rigby.
Yes. Motion passes 4-0. And I think that's everything. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Gillis. So motion by Mrs. De Silva, second by Mrs. Gillis. Anyone opposed? The meeting is adjourned.